natural. The science is a jewel. For me and mine's yours and you. Let's move. Tell you a little bit about mine.
Yasiin BEy.
I was born in a season where the world was quiet and cold. Celebrations were going on. Some were happy, some were sad. Some felt bad from being good. Some felt good from being bad. The feelings pass and change, but they never leave. They here to stay. Holiday, holiday, happy birthday. Teenage love, the first cup, run deep. So long flesh, this is the Brooklyn streets. Year of the ox, 7 and 3, MD. The history, come on. Every soul got one day. Yes, it's where you been and where you be. And without understanding, you cannot proceed complete. It starts in the end. Then they just go round again. Again and again, brand new. Again and again, so fresh. Again and again, blueness. I was born in a decade of decadence where they worship what they have. Ford was president, do the math. What was entered when the North Vietnamese stormed the city of Saigon. We was like, bye, we was gone, let bygones be bygones. I'm gone, spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. Where they hug you with the firearm, tried on. Like we was school clothes, Black Star officially. Smash when we do shows, facts, no mystery. I'm down with the crew like Mussolini in Italy. I'm rocking with the fruits like the Giventry. Powerful, bigotry at work, me and people got history. Rappers dumbing down considerably. We get it popping like a hit chorus. The flow is historic, they can't get rid of us, you pick with us. And we lay the law like Leviticus. 10 years ago we made history, so they miss us. And you don't call it a comeback in particular. Even if it blend into ephemera, a fade into peripheral. Transmission of the minister's original will broadcast clear without the minister. Black stuff, top burning, soul temperatures and ministers.
Ooh, Yasiin BEy. Talib Kweli. Peace, 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 peace. Salam Mail here. Today, we're going to be reading a little bit from When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. Amazing book. And before I started this, I was planning on getting like this precise quotes or whatever, but I'm just going to read. I just have like pages folded. And I'm just going to read a few of the things that I found interesting, and that I hope you do as well. And first I'm going to just read the beginning of chapter 6, just so you kind of can understand what's going on. Always they ask me the question, why are you doing this? What made you start looking for this? The secret histories unfolded during my search for an early group of people in North America known as the Kali, K-A-L-I. A public television documentary, PBS, The History of the American West, mentioned that early Spanish explorers found a people called Cali living in the western reaches of the North American continent. The documentary made no other mention of the Cali after revealing these early Americans to be quote-unquote black. I got quote quotes on the black right here. I had never heard of the Cali or of any other black-skinned people being in America when Columbus came. I sent emails to PBS asking for the sources that told of the Cali. I got no response. I searched the internet for the History of the American West documentary and found an excerpt from that project, but there was no reference to the Cali. Weeks passed, and still, not one single sentence was found about the American Cali. I would try one last time. The documentary said the early Spanish explorers saw the Cali, so I decided to concentrate on the period when Spain began its exploration of the Americas. Very important point about history. I need to study. Almost immediately, my fortune changed. Rare books and maps on the southwest region of North America were found in the Special Collections Library at a local university. Keys, maybe you can find it at your local university if you look in the Special Collections Library for maps and rare books. It's possible. Maybe I would find something about the Cali in those maps and records. Arriving at this library, I discovered there were numerous old maps and records about the period and place when the Spanish explorers saw the Cali. I was fortunate to meet a Hispanic librarian who possessed deep knowledge of the historical Spanish literature, which included some of the most detailed descriptions of the New World and its people. She knew the records that preserved Spain's early descriptions of the Americas. After being introduced to her, I went straight to the riddle that had consumed me. I'm looking for the black people, called Cali, who were in the Americas when the conquistadors arrived. The slight smile fell from the librarian's mouth. She glanced about the dimly lit room, apparently to determine if anyone overheard my question. That's hilarious. She walked me quickly to a table away from the ears of a few people near the entrance. I can tell you where to find the blacks who were in the America when Columbus came here. She whispered, excuse me, as she leaned toward me for confidentiality. But you do understand that people do not like to talk about that, don't you? You understand? Now listen, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm not supposed to be telling you this, okay? There we are. I'll just finish off this last part. I know that there were several groups of blacks here. Several groups of blacks. And not just in the islands, but in South America too, she offered, while occasionally looking around as though we were committing a grave conspiracy. They were called the Caribs, the Black Caribs, she said. And Caribs is spelled C-A-R-I-B-S. So now let me get to the part that I was trying to read. Okay. Boom. Okay, boom. When I arrived home, I found myself opening the letters of Cortez, which described the war against the Aztecs. Hernando Cortez, the leader of the Spanish invasion, wrote these so-called letters. It was nearly midnight. I was trying to blah 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 blah. He's talking about going to sleep and dozing off. A few minutes past midnight, nearly all the lights in the neighborhood had fallen asleep, but it was time for me to wake up. I'll read this part because this sounds a lot like if as a Moor, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like to say as a Moor, but just once you understand who you are and you're on this journey, you find yourself up at all hours of the night. It was a few minutes past midnight. Nearly all the lights in the neighborhood had fallen asleep. Mind you, I'm recording this at 1:45 in the morning, and I got to go to work in a few hours, so you see what I'm talking about. Nearly all the lights in the neighborhood had fallen asleep, but it was time for me to wake up. I walked back inside from a brisk night air and split open the book to the statement that had pulled me from the spell of sleep. The words in the statement had come from the Aztec leader Montezuma. This is what I saw. From the Aztec leader, Montezuma. Long time have we been informed by the writings of our ancestors that neither myself nor any of those who inhabit this land are natives of it, but rather strangers who have come to it from foreign parts. We likewise know that from those parts of our nation was led by a certain lord to whom all were subject, and who then went back to his native land, where he remained so long delaying his return that at his coming those whom he had left had married the women of the land, and had many children by them, and had built themselves cities in which they lived, so that they would in no wise return to their own land, nor acknowledge him as Lord, upon which he left them. We have always believed that among his descendants one would surely come to subject this land and us as rightful vassals. Now seeing the regions from which you say you come, which is from where the sun rises, and the news you tell of this great king and ruler who sent you hither, We believe and hold certain that he is our natural Lord, especially in that you say he has long had knowledge of us. I marked the page. Now this is back to the writer. I marked the page, turned toward the group of books on the bed, and pulled out the book written by Cortez's secretary, Francisco Gamarra. Opening Gamarra's account to the same meeting between Cortez and Montezuma, I read to see what he wrote about Montezuma's words to Cortez. Gamarra wrote, and so now this is Cortez, the Spanish guy's secretary, writing about the Aztec Montezuma's words to Cortez. As my father told me and his father told him, our ancestors and kings from whom I am descended were not natives of this country, but newcomers, led by a great lord who a little while later returned to his own land. The Aztecs were foreigners who came to America aboard ships, which had come from the direction where the sun rises. Montezuma's speech astonished me. This was a critically important correction of pre-Columbian American history by Montezuma, whose name was really Montezuma, according to the Aztecs, and that's Motecuzoma. And Montezuma was just Montezuma. So here we go. Most modern historians deny passionately a transatlantic origin for the Aztecs, claiming the Aztecs were Indians who migrated from North America. How had these historians misseen what Montezuma had said? So I want to read that part just to point out that this part is just pointing out a part in history that should be very clear to see, but that the historians somehow missed it. And I say that to say, if they would miss something like this, do you think that perhaps maybe our history is hard to find, not by accident, maybe by purpose? You know, it's not being left out. All of the history of the Moors didn't just accidentally leave itself out of all of our history books. Noah Ali didn't just accidentally disappear from our history. Just a thought. Let me continue. I slid back into the pages of the letters Cortez had written to the King of Spain. Its military leader had taken ships and troops from a harbor at Cuba without the Spanish king's permission and had begun waging war against people in Mexico, including the Aztecs. Cortez's letters did not seem really like letters. Instead, they were sort of a brief providing detailed accounts of what Cortez saw, heard, and did during his attack on Mexico. The next night, or sometime during the reading, sleep folded itself back across me and I melted into the morning. The next night, I was back into the colors and smells of the Aztec capital. Just after midnight, another curious passage came from the Cortez letters. Hold on one second. Excuse me. This watermelon actually has the seeds, the black seeds in it. Not GMO, I think. Kind of hard to know these days, right? So where was I at? Oh, okay. We back to the Cortez letters. Another curious passage came from Cortez letters. And so we remained there very much at ease. Cortez is the Spanish side. We remained there very much at ease throughout the rest of the day and night, thinking all disturbance had settled down. Next day, after hearing Mass, I dispatched a messenger to Veracruz, giving them the good news that I had entered the city to find the Christians, Spanish soldiers, alive, and the city now quiet. But in half an hour, he returned all covered with bruises and wounds, crying that the whole populace of the city was advancing in war dress, and all the bridges were raised. A half an hour, he came back bruised and wounded. Quick, hey, it's going down, y'all. And immediately behind him came a multitude of people from all parts, so that and this is in italics, the streets and the house roofs were black with natives, all of whom came on with the most frightful yells and shouts. Frightful yells and shouts it is possible to imagine. The streets and house roofs were black with natives. The attack had occurred after sunrise. The blackness of the Aztec warriors was not the result of the night's lack of light. Cortez's slip of the tongue regarding the blackness of the Aztecs was followed a few days later by another comment that slipped through the censor's message. Their Comorants, I don't know what that means, Cormorants, Comorants, also marvelously skillful in fishing. And a bird that also, their Comorants also, some sort of animal, I'm guessing, bird. I don't know. And a bird that looks like a swan, and only its neck is much longer and more strange. And pelicans of many colors that live by fishing, as big as geese, with a beak about 2 spans long, only the lower member of which is movable, with a sack that hangs down to their breast. In it they can store more than 10 pounds of fish and a pitcher of water. I heard it is said that one of those birds swallowed a black baby a few months old, but could not fly away with it, and so was captured. Here's the key. Listen. The censor or interpreter of the work failed to continue using Moorish and dark complexion to describe the Mexicans. Did you just hear that? Let me read it again. The censor or interpreter of the work failed to continue using Moorish and dark complexion to describe the Mexicans, choosing in this instance to use an adjective that was certain and unquestionable: black. Just think about that for a second. Get some more watermelon. Moors to describe Mexicans. You want to know how Allah is the best of planners? Look at that there. What we got there? Oh, Moors, Mexicans. The South Al-Moroccans, indigenous. RVBeypublications.com, RVBeypublications.com. Also, khalifamedia.com. 77 amazing facts about the Moors. Shameless plug. Oh, one more. Moors Jewels. That's me. Shameless plug. khalifamedia.com or Amazon. Rami Salam El. RAMI Salam El. EL. Salam is SALAAM. Just for you to know. Excuse me. Let's get back to it. I just found this one section so amazing. Mexicans were referred to as Moors, but slipped up and called them black. An adjective, mind you. So that's the same people. Mexicans, black, Moor, were all connected. And connected with Aztecs, but natives. Ain't that something? Let me continue reading just a little further. Just as the librarian had cautioned, the government's account of the Aztecs, and this is written by the Spanish people, mind you, written by Cortez, seemed washed or censored. The African presence was effectively hidden, even while the descriptions exposed the people's braided hair, Moorish clothing, their mosques, African police system. That's interesting. I want to read about that. And African ornamentation. But now a black baby has stood up from the pages. How had the censors missed that? The secret that was seeping out of the Spanish records ripped an opening in the veil that had been draped over pre-Columbian history. According to most modern historians, the Aztecs and other Mexicans had walked from Asia across a vanished Bering Strait land, bridged near Alaska through Canada, then down the western coast of North America to become advanced Indian civilizations. Yeah, that is what we were told, but it is malarkey. Boom, you know. Let me skip over here. Yeah, the next chapter. Before I heard about the Cali or saw the 5 letters of Cortez, a young Ethiopian, working to earn her master's degree, sent African history books to me. Martha Malaku had heard of my interest in early and African history during conversations with my wife, who worked with the university's Africa program. One of the books the Ethiopian scholars sent contained an account of 2 transatlantic expeditions launched from Mali, a country in West Africa, written by Dr. Ivan van Sertima, a professor at Rutgers who had come from South America. The book included an account of African ships sent across the Atlantic Sea by a Mali king, Abu Bakari. The ships were launched towards the Americas nearly 200 years before Columbus went across that same sea. The 2 Atlantic Sea crossings by the Mali explorers became more important when I noticed that the Moorish, black Aztecs, and Moorish is capitalized, black is not, Aztecs, had arrived at Mexico in ships about the same time that the Mali sent her ships across the Atlantic. Just so you can see. Let me see if you can see that right in there. See that in there? Hope you can see that. So, if you don't notice by now, when the rocks cry out, amazing book. So, pick it up, please. Let's skip over here. Page 39. Spanish writers who saw the Aztecs and who knew the Moors had revealed that the Aztecs even wore the same clothing used by the Africans called Moors. A month later, I found the Aztec history that removed the doubt regarding whether the Aztecs had an association with Mali. According to a European friar, F-R-I-A-R, the Aztecs named their first colony Malinaco. It was no coincidence that the people on an expedition for Mali would name their first colony Malinaco, M-A-L-I-N-A-L-C-O, just as it was no coincidence that England named its first settlement New England, or that Spain named its land in America New Spain. The relationship between Mali and the Aztecs became clear when I saw that a translator put his notes about Mali's traditions, explaining his translation of Sundiata, an epic of old Mali. So it's another story, so I don't want to get into all of that, but yeah. So I just wanted to put that on record. Several mentions of Moors all through this book. I mean, you know, the truth is the truth. I'll close with this. That's what I will do. The divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, etc. Am I reading the right one? Yeah. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. The Egyptians, who were the Hamathites and the direct descendant of Mizraim. The Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese. The Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites. Hittites and Moabites from the land of Canaan. The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America. The Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America. Brazilians, Argentinians, Chileans in South America. The Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims, are Moors, family. And that's coming from the Holy Quran, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. That's it. Thank you. Much love to you. Peace. Study history. Very important. And don't believe what I read to you. Look it up. Get this book, When Rocks Cry Out, for yourself. Read it for yourself. Look up the words that were referenced. Look up Aztecs. Look up Letters of Cortez. Look up Montezuma. Look up Malinaco. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Before they came here or they were here before Columbus. Trying to think of what else. The Olmecs. Look up O-L-M-E-C-S. Olmecs. Yeah. What else? Is that it? I think that's it. Shout out. Oh, let's do that right there real quick. Shout out to the brother Yasiin BEy. That's Yasiin BEy right there, also known as Most Def. And that's coming. The music that was played was from the Ecstatic, and this is the back cover of the Ecstatic. If you can see that right there. Yes. Yes, indeed. That's exactly what it looks like. That's why he changed his name to Yasiin BEy. Matter of fact, that's what we're gonna close it out. One time for Yasiin BEy. We're gonna close him out. Take us away. Revelations.
Sunshine. Ecstatic. Black gold. Standing in the sun, getting black as I want. They playing good then, that ain't backing me up. Skywalker, baby, ain't no dragging my hem. I got a whole lot to say, so I ain't talking to them. I hear him eavesdropping and turn it up louder. Black freedom, black genius, black power. Black ink for printing the black dollar. Until I see IA, I say, now what? And CC, a central bank. Loose change, body slamming, big money tanks. We tell God thanks. Y'all telling us that God don't rank. That's why your breath stink. Lay off the bacon and the smokes. Quit laying off the good working folks. Quit the hoax. And lay off the corny color jokes. Call chili the pop, yelly the colors is a woke. You big dope. Keep them out your face, keep them in your prayers. Either that or keep them in the crosshairs. Better still keep an even dose of each, cause until you get justice, you won't get peace. Peace. See, peace. The gunshot is set. Wa-da-da-day. Wa-da-da-da-day. Wa-da-da-da-da-day. Hey, this y'all peace. Shout peace. The firefight leg. Wa-da-da-day. Wa-da-da-da-day. Wa-da-da-da-da-day. Settlement set. Rumors of war that I get that I don't know what they're dead for. And more. Rumors.
We're gonna take you to one more.
Killers just killing, I don't know what they kill for. And more. Flaco, llámame flaco, pero mi primer nombre es Yasiin el apellido el BEy. Oiga, esos son testigos, la hermosa y el peligro distinto, claro que sí, la verdad, la calle, el pueblo, las fincas y centros, ciudad, calidad, lo mejor, mal y más, guerra y vida, amor y cambia, comida, la guarda, pistola, oración, para ellos, damas y caballeros, familia, crianza, la luz en la distancia, querido Dios, viene más cercana mi vista, mi casa, mis sueños, mi alma. Quiero saberlo, sentir tu abrazo y tu contacto. Muéstrame algo claro. Amén. Claro que sí. No hay nada más. Penal, no hay nada más. Claro que sí, no hay nada más, y no hay nada más, final no hay nada más. Claro que sí.
Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through our holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. I love you, I love you, I love you.